Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. Long time no see. I know I didn't join the boys on Thursday night. As you can see, I'm in an undisclosed location in the mountains of western North Carolina. We come up here to see my brother-in-law. So that's why we're always here. We're only 4.5 hours away. So minicamp finished. If you read my my blog, dogpoundsouth.net, I erroneously said that there would be no holdouts for the Cleveland Browns in mandatory minicamp. Oops, I was wrong. Amari Cooper, of course. Amari Cooper is scheduled to make $20 million this year. He's 30 years old. So you got to think, and well, he wants another contract, and I don't blame him. He's over the last 2 years, he's been probably consistently the best wide receiver in the AFC North. And I know others will argue, but look at the statistics. He is. And you got to add to the fact that he had a career year last year in yardage and set a single game record, team record, 265 yards against Houston Texans. And he had 4 different quarterbacks thrown to him. So, sorry, he is. So, what would a contract look like? Well, Jack Duffin, the contract guru of Twitter, projects a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal. He looks at what Mike Evans got. Mike Evans got, $20.5 million. Just signed it. He is what, a 2-year deal? Yep, $20.5 million. He is 31 years of age, so that would be a good benchmark. Right, like I said, right now Amari Cooper is scheduled to make $20 million. Jack put out a 3-year deal and a 2-year deal. I am leaning more towards a 2-year deal, like Mike Evans. I mean, if you look at the contracts that came out this year, A.J. Brown, $32 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30 million. Devonta Smith, $25 million. Michael Pittman, $23.3 million. Calvin Ridley, $23 million. And then you look down the list and you see Jerry Jeudy at 17.5. Smart move by Andrew Berry to get that deal out of the way before these other contracts came together. He got Jerry Jeudy at a very good deal. So what you do is you give Amari Cooper $2.5 million more this year, and then give him $25 million next year. Make it a 2-year deal with some voidable years to spread out. He still has signing bonuses and prorated bonuses, his restructured bonuses. All still you have to pay. So I think they can get him for, 22 million. That would be fair for Amari Cooper if you compare it to the 21.5 million, the 20.5 million that you're giving, that Tampa's giving Mike Evans. I mean, he's consistent. Yes, he's had an injury the last 2 years, but he's still your number one wide receiver, Browns. So they'll get this done. I anticipate him to be signed, sealed, delivered prior to them heading to West Virginia in about 6 weeks. If you noticed on all the interviews for the mandatory minicamp, a lot of the players didn't seem concerned. Deshaun Watson didn't seem concerned. So I'm not going to be concerned. They've already been talking. They've been talking since, the league year started back in March. So I'm not going to sweat over it. This isn't like the past Browns where you had holdouts and it got ugly. I don't see this getting ugly. So rest assured, everything's going to be fine. Let's take a quick break, and we come back. I want to discuss a couple of the other teams in the AFC North. Okay, I found an article. Well, it was a podcast, but it was also a written article about from NBC Sports about Cam Hayward, who's holding out from the Steelers. He made an interesting comment that he basically put out there for the Steelers. And don't get me wrong, I can't stand the Steelers. They're the Steelers. That's why I can't stand them. But I do give them credit for one thing. They have a very good front office who can identify talent, not only coming in talent, but also exiting talent. They don't pay for players they think are done. And more often than not, when they let a player go, that's it. They go to another team and they do hardly anything. So they're smart. He wants a new contract. He's got 1 year left and he wants a new contract, Cam Hayward. And he made a statement to NBC Sports that, he still has family in Cleveland. His wife is from Cleveland. So, he might sign with Cleveland next year. Whoa. How about that? That you used to, free agents would come to Cleveland to Berea for a visit, and then they'd make fun of the facilities and all that. Here's a guy who's an arch rival, although he did play at Ohio State, using the Cleveland Browns as leverage that he would. Now, he didn't say he'd like to sign with Cleveland. He just put that out there for the Steeler fans to raise a little ruckus with their front office. I love it. I love it. Also in the AFC North, T. Higgins signed his franchise. So now T. Higgins is going to make $21.8 million. That's got to drive the Brown family down in Cincinnati crazy. They don't like to pay contracts. I have not heard anything about Trey Hendrickson yet. They've still got Jamar Chase to redo, and they at the time made Joe Burrow the highest paid quarterback. Since then, Sunshine down there in Jacksonville got a new deal, so now he's the highest paid quarterback. And by the way, Deshaun Watson slowly going down that list. I think he's 8th or 9th now as the highest paid quarterback. So I'm not going to worry about that. But T. Higgins going to make 21.8. Which falls in line, basically. That's your franchise tag number. Do they redo T. Higgins when they know they let the other guy go and he signed? I can't think of his name all of a sudden, but it'll come to me. And do you let T. Higgins walk, or do you try to restructure a deal? A smart team will try to restructure a deal. They can't franchise him again next year. The price will only go up. It's based on the top, I believe, top 5 contracts. And as I've already pointed out, AJ Brown, $32 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30 million. I mean, that's going to go up. That's going to go up quite a bit. And add to that, the Amari Cooper contract may bump that up a little bit too. So, do you take your one franchise year at 21.8 and you got to try and restructure it if you're a Bengals? I mean, if you don't restructure it, there's no way they're going to pay him next year. So the window is slightly closing for Cincinnati. They have a little dysfunction going on, which I'm happy to see. So, well, this was just a quick little podcast today. I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical L's Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm Steve Gill, wishing you, like I said, a happy Father's Day. We appreciate you watching, listening, and following us here at the Fanatical L's Network, because after all, we're fans just like you. So everybody, have a great day and go Browns.